Sometimes we are too smart for our own good. That's why today we're talking about a mental trap that even the smartest of us fall into and how to avoid it.
Life is beautiful.
All right, so if you've been listening to the podcast for the past couple of weeks, you know that we have preparing day in and day out for this keynote presentation. And we are a little ahead of schedule with these episodes, but at the time of recording this, we have just delivered that keynote, and it has been a huge relief for us.
It has been, yes.
But I do want to talk about something that I noticed in this whole process that went down, because I think there's a really powerful lesson from it. And that idea is we prepared like crazy for this thing. There was one point you literally had the recording of our keynote and you were listening to it over and over and over in the shower, on the treadmill. You knew this thing inside and out. I knew this thing inside and out. We could recite it in our sleep. We had rehearsed it so much. Talk about extreme preparation.
Yeah, shout out Randy Kaplan.
Shout out Randy Kaplan. We were extremely prepared to go on that stage. But then we went on the actual stage the day of this keynote, and it was totally different than all of that preparation. The feeling that you get when there's an actual audience in front of you, and the feeling that you get when you're on that stage and it's like the real thing, nothing compares to that actual repetition. Like all those reps in our office, in our cozy little office or whatever, in the shower, none of it compared to the real thing.
Yeah.
And so today, I think it's very important to acknowledge extreme preparation being this amazing thing and this amazing concept that we live by, and I wouldn't take any of that back. But I want to talk about this bias towards action that we need to have to going out and doing the real thing, because I feel like we all fall into this trap known as the preparation trap, where we prepare and we prepare and we prepare for the real thing without actually going and trying the real thing.
Yeah. This concept really makes me think of comedians all the time, because a comedian, like you said, can sit down with a pen and paper and write all these amazing jokes on paper, right? But the best comedians in the world, they, on any given night, you will find them in some random comedy club testing out their material in front of people.
Yeah.
And they know that that is the only thing that's actually going to get them closer to going and delivering that amazing stand-up performance when they get that Netflix deal or wherever it may be.
100%. Yeah, there's nothing, like we said, there's nothing that compares to doing the actual thing. And I think we avoid it out of fear of failure, and us high achievers trick ourselves into believing that like we just need to prepare a little bit more. But I think it's really perfectionism. And I think it's a fear of failure that stops us from going out and testing that material, from going out and doing the real thing. And we think that we have to be so prepared that it's perfection. And I think we tend to fall into this trap. And another example I've been noticing. So like I said, we're ahead of schedule with these. At the time of recording, the Knicks are in the finals. By the time you listen to this, the finals will be over. We have no idea what.
Hopefully, we'll be celebrating the Knicks' victory.
But right now,
6th Avenue.
At the time of recording, the Knicks are up 2-1 in the finals. And I think part of the reason why they're having success so far in these finals, I don't know where it goes, but right now they are the more successful team because they are the more experienced team. This team that they are versing, the San Antonio Spurs, are a very young and arrogant team, where there's a player on the New York Knicks who was up 2-0 in the finals in the 7-game series, and he then lost in the finals.
Who's that?
Mikal Bridges.
Really?
With the Phoenix Suns. He was up 2-0 in the finals, and he got all cocky and arrogant, and that's why the lingo among the New York Knicks is every game is 0-0.
Wasn't Cat in the finals before too?
No.
But he made it very far, didn't he?
I don't remember, but he definitely wasn't in the finals. But it doesn't matter. The point that I'm trying to make here is that desperation that they're bringing to each game can only come from having that experience in the league, right? And that's really the bottom line of this episode is we tend to wait before we go out and do the thing that we know we need to do. And we over-prepare at times without actually going to do that thing. So some examples, a diet, let's say. I feel like there have been times where you research all these different diets and you think, oh, should I do keto? Should I do the Atkins? Should I do Weight Watchers? Should I just do low carb? Should I do high protein? You don't know what's going to work for you unless you just pick one and start trying it. And it might not work. It might work. You don't know until you actually go do it. Exercise, same thing. Am I going to like Orange Theory? Am I going to like running? Am I going to like weightlifting? Am I going to like this gym? Am I going to like this song? I don't know. You only know until you go out and go to the gym and see how it makes you feel. You have to get that real-time feedback.
Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, often says a quote that I love, and it's so simple. It's just action produces information.
Yeah, we talked about that before. I love that quote.
It is exactly what you're talking about. In order to make good decisions and feel like you're making progress towards something, you need to get in the arena and do the thing.
Yep. Another really common example is a lot of people want to be creating content. And that's a big one because there's a huge fear associated with that content not performing well.
Yep.
And I think that's another one where you just got to post it. Like you can't overplan the content. Like, for example, this podcast, right? We planned for months for the podcast launch. And then we launched and then we realized through action, okay, this is not working. We pivoted 3 times in the last year. And the only way we would have learned that was by actually doing the thing. So don't overplan the content either.
I feel like the same thing could be said with investing, right? When you first start investing for the first time and you make like these stupid mistakes in investing, then you learn, okay, I can't do that anymore. I have to do this, right?
Yeah.
It is the best lessons you learn in life are from real life experience and not reading it in a book. Reading it in a book is great. You got to get dirty. You got to get your hands.
So the call to action is do the real thing and ask yourself, where are you over preparing in your life out of a fear of failure? Whether that's your health, you're overthinking your diet or your workout plan, whether that's your wealth, you're researching jobs that you want to apply to instead of actually applying to them, whether that's love, you're liking photos on Instagram instead of actually shooting your shot, whether that's business, you're thinking of content ideas you want to make but not actually posting any. Go out and do the thing.
Just remember this. Just keep in mind, have a bias for action. Bias for action, bias for action, bias for action. And tell yourself that every single day. When you start thinking, remind yourself that you are a person that takes action.
Action produces information.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us. Love you.
Peace.